What is up, everybody? Movie review here, and today we're going to be talking about Rocky 3, continuing our Rocky-thon. So, Rocky 3, like a lot of the other Rocky movies, picks up right where the last one, left off with the whole recap of, what happened in the last movie. We get a quick montage in this movie showing Rocky, climbing his way to the top and becoming, the heavyweight champion of the world. The character is completely different, honestly, from the first two movies. His personality is much different. He's no longer illiterate. He's got a lot of charisma. He's got money. He really does feel like a different character. It doesn't seem jarring. It feels very natural for a character who started from the bottom and is now at the top, and he's a multi-millionaire, and he's married, he has a kid, and life is good. And now there's this new character we're introduced to, Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T, and he's hungry. He's got that eye of the tiger. He wants the belt. Honestly, in the beginning of the movie, it's kind of an interesting take because Rocky is almost portrayed more in a negative, kind of cocky light. He's not taking anything very seriously, and Clubber Lang is like the underdog now. So it's almost like things have been flipped. That's not to say Rocky's unlikable, but he's very different from the Rocky we knew in Rocky 1 and 2. So it's a very interesting arc in this movie for his character. One other character that I just need to talk about quick is Paulie. It's kind of a weird thing in the beginning of the movie. It's like they're setting up this arc of jealousy, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It's kind of a throwaway thread, a throwaway arc. So that was kind of random. Had they actually done something with it, it would have been better, but it was just very throwaway. Adrian at this point in these movies is very much a sidelined character. She's really just there for moral support. So for the rest of the franchise, don't expect too much from Adrian. One other thing we got to talk about is Apollo Creed. So Apollo Creed is introduced in this movie once again, but this time he's a little bit more humble. He's still Apollo Creed. He still has that cocky, attitude. I mean, he wouldn't be Apollo Creed if he didn't. But he's definitely a hero in this movie, and actually, helps and trains Rocky. Mickey in this movie, well, there's no other way to say it. Spoiler alert, Mickey dies in this movie, and he dies relatively early. Because of him dying, Rocky gets clobbered in the ring by Clubber Lang. He loses, the title, he loses the match, and at this point we see Rocky at his lowest. This is probably the lowest we've seen him, and there's a great scene later on in the movie between him and Adrian, and Rocky talking about how he's afraid, for the first time he's afraid because now he has stuff to lose, he has something to lose. So once again, these movies just do a great job at developing all of the characters. I'm not going to go into all of them, but I already have. I'm not going to go super in depth with all of them, but they all have, so many arcs in this movie, even if some of them are throwaway. They all have so much depth and development, and it's crazy just how each movie continues to develop these characters, and they don't feel stale in the slightest. Other than the characters, what else is good in this movie? It definitely has a more polished feel. You can tell it had a bigger budget than the other two Rocky movies. This is very much like a new wave of Rocky. The first two had this very gritty, indie kind of feel, and now from here on out they're all going to feel, this sounds pretentious, but like Hollywood. They definitely have a bigger budget now. The characters feel a little bit different, and it just overall has a different tone. That being said, rewatching Rocky 3, I actually found it to be very enjoyable. Honestly, on par with Rocky 2. I think the drama is still very much here. The acting is still good across the board, and some of the best fights in the series. There is one fight in the movie that is completely pointless and doesn't serve the plot in any way, and that's Sylvester Stallone versus Hulk Hogan. It's very, I don't know, it's one of those movies that really just gets your testosterone going, man. This is a manly ass movie. I guess that's kind of the bottom line for Rocky 3. It's cool, man. It's just a really cool, fun, entertaining movie, and still keeps a lot of the dramatic elements from the other movie. I would say Rocky 1, 2, and 3 are the best of, the original Rocky. I'm not counting Balboa, but the original 5 Rocky movies. After this, they kind of go downhill, and we'll get to that. But I think that's pretty much going to do it for this review, guys. Check it out and continue, through the series up until we get to Creed 2. So that's going to do it for this movie review, guys. See you next time.